And you know, you get all the insight on Mutant TV.
I'm going to make this as spoiler-free as possible, okay? Halloween 2 picks up exactly where Halloween 1 left off. Okay, Laurie Strode has seemingly killed Michael Myers by shooting him in the head. The police come. They're taking the bodies away. They take her away to the hospital. Okay, she deals with the ramifications of that night, of being attacked, of seeing her friends attacked, of dealing with that trauma, you know. And basically, for most of the movie, she deals with what medical professionals might diagnose as post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay, and that was one of the things I liked about the film. I liked that here's a character involved in this traumatic series of events where all of her friends were brutally, harmed or killed, and then it actually affects her. It changes her mood. It turns her into a dark. Basically a dark Rob Zombie white trash chick, which I really didn't like that look for Scout Taylor-Compton at all. I like my Laurie Strode to be, cute and perky, but this, I was willing to follow the film. Okay, I was going with it. You have the Dr. Samuel Loomis subplot where he's written another book and he's out touring to promote it, and people he's having to deal with people labeling him a profiteer, basically because he's trying to take advantage of these traumatic events and turn a buck off of it. Another thing that happens in this film that you can see from the trailers is that Sherry Moon Zombie plays Michael Myers' mother, basically urging him on to kill and whatnot. Now, at the beginning of the film, Rob Zombie offers an explanation for the white horse. He offers a psychological explanation for the white horse as some kind of symbol of catharsis, I believe is what it was. But I don't know. I couldn't quite follow that line of thought. I might have to see the film again in order to put it into that context and understand what he was going after. But I did think that the moments with Sherry, even though it's very much anti John Carpenter, it's completely different from everything he had in mind. And it doesn't necessarily. I mean, yeah, okay, it calls back Pamela Voorhees, but you know what? It also calls back Psycho. Okay, let's go back a little bit further than the 80s, guys. Okay, Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock's original. The original mother that told him to kill. It recalls that, and so in one way, I see that as a paying homage. Okay, but the scenes with Myers' mother, driving him on, I thought those were actually pretty well done because they were strange and unusual, very dreamlike. Whenever those moments came on, you never knew if this was part of the reality of the film or if it was a dream or what exactly was going on. And that, in that essence, worked because in order for horror films to work, in order for horror to work, you have to be presented with what I've read called in the horror film reader as uncanny metaphors. Uncanny being something that's strange, out of the normal, it's unusual, it's beyond our normal scope of reasoning, beyond our normal realm of influence, okay? And metaphors being some kind of symbolic representation of our fears or desires or anxieties or whatever. Okay, so in that respect, those sequences with Sherry Moon worked. The ethereal, dreamlike quality of it all really worked because it made it uncanny. It wasn't just a guy wandering around killing people, okay? Now, one thing people are complaining about is the hobo look of Michael Myers. I mean, come on, give me a break, guys. You really think if this guy is out there wandering around, who's probably paranoid schizophrenic, Michael Myers is, he's definitely psychotic, you think he's going to wander the streets and shave every day? You think he's going to go to the barber shop and have somebody groom his hair, his fingernails? No, the guy's going to be filthy. He's just going to wander, let his hair grow, let his beard grow, and be nasty. That's that's the way he would be. Have you ever seen a paranoid schizophrenic? Have you seen a mentally ill person, how they treat their bodies? I mean, they don't care. They don't care. They just smoke all day, drink coffee rather, and they don't give a shit. They let their bodies fall apart. In that regard, it works. Okay. But I thought the film was just okay. I thought there was a lot of missed opportunities. I thought zombies should have pushed the uncanny aspect of the kind of ghost mother thing. I'm not sure what to call it just yet. I'll kind of wait for the collective horror meme to name it, whatever they're going to call it, and I'll pick up on that maybe in a later review. In a lot of ways, you know, it's just kind of repetitive. You know, Myers killing people and wandering around, and Laurie Strode being depressed and dealing with her inner demons. So there's not a whole lot else going on in the film. It's just kind of dark and bleak. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what you like, but I don't think the scares were set up as well as they were in the initial remake. There's a lot of missed opportunities in the film. One thing that works in the film is the brutality level. I mean, Myers' killings are very, very brutal. I mean, he you know, hits people repeatedly, smashes them into pulp, you know, smashes their face in the hamburger, stabs them into, you know, chops, slices, and dices them all the way down the line. You know, it's very, very brutal. Rob Zombie knows how to make a brutal film. You know, and there are some filmmakers out there that's all they thrive on. They show us that that's not very hard to do. But the problem is that the film overall was just lacking that little something extra. Yeah, it works for brutality. Some of the imagery is good, like the Halloween imagery of everybody in costumes and in these outlandish gatherings of people and whatnot. That's all good stuff and everything. But there's just something missing. There's too many subplots. Streebo slasher stat-wise, the film has a lot of decent gore in it. You know, smashed faces, multiple stab wounds, just all kinds of, you know, carnage and brutality. A good number of, you know, naked breasts, if that's the kind of thing you dig, which, you know, Streebo always does, and I'm sure, you know, my male audience does as well. But it wasn't enough to totally save this film. On the Streebo Screamometer, I'm going to have to give Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, this is not Halloween 2, but I'm using this representation, I'm going to have to give it a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. Which is the same rating I gave to Friday the 13th, 2009, My Bloody Valentine, 2009. So there you go. I mean, it had some elements that were there that could have been exploited, that could have made it better. You know, if he'd have made a bit more of a story other than just the story of the survivor, which I do like that aspect. You know, to back up, not to back up too much, but like the Scream films, for example. You know, they pick up in Scream 2 and 3, and you know, Sydney's not traumatized after she saw all of her friends get killed. She's not traumatized. You know, it's just life is normal. Yeah, I mean, she has a little bit of thought that she puts into it, but she's not traumatized in the way that Laurie Strode is traumatized in Halloween 2. And I thought that was a good angle for him to work with. But on the whole, it just didn't have enough to make it original. I think probably this brutal phase of filmmaking is probably coming to an end. If these guys can't figure out how to make this stuff seem original and daring anymore, then it's time for us to just kind of close the book on it, whether it's the Saw films or the Hostel series or this Halloween remake series or, you know, whatever. I mean, maybe Alexander Aja had the right idea when he made High Tension and he just left it behind. You know, maybe there wasn't anything else he could do as far as making just a brutal film. So, I don't know. I'm probably going to see the film again when the mood hits me. After tonight, I don't feel like seeing it again. I might wait for the DVD to come out and just check out the director's cut, which will probably be a bit more refined. When the director's cut comes out, maybe it'll have addressed some of the problems that I thought it had. But on the whole, I think it needs some major rewriting, mainly with the characters, to make the film more engaging, more interesting, and he has to set up the scares a little bit better next time around. So, definitely the weakest film Rob Zombie has done. I was a fan of all the others. You can check out my reviews for them. If you hated Zombie's initial remake, you're definitely going to hate this because it goes as far away from John Carpenter's ideas as it could, which is fine because a film only has to be self-interesting, meaning it doesn't have to replicate Carpenter's film. That's why we have Carpenter's film. You can go watch it if that's what you want to see. You can fool yourself and say the rest of those Halloween movies were good, but you know what? They weren't, guys. Halloween 2 was a Friday 13th ripoff. 4, 5, and 6 were Friday 13th ripoffs. Okay, I mean let's be honest. They weren't suspenseful. They weren't anything like Carpenter's masterpiece. Okay, Zombies remake was the best behind Carpenter's original, and unfortunately, it looks like his remake series is going to suffer the same fate, in that they're all going to be kind of pale imitations of that initial, you know, spectacular outburst. But so check it out, and we'll see what you think, and we'll see you next time here on Mutantville.com.
And Mutantville, I'll be keeping my eye on you.